Hello everybody, this is Debbie from Teacher Success Coach. Yes, I'm a bit early today because I left school early and I got here about 10 minutes ago, which is fantastic for me. It's just after, it's about 4:15, 4:20. And I've said to myself, when I got in this morning, I said one of my mission is to leave school early today. So I left about just after 3, yeah. Tomorrow I intend to leave with my students. My lesson finishes at 2:45. I intend to leave at least 10 to 3 tomorrow. That's my mission for tomorrow. Anyway, right, what am I grateful for? As always, and I think it's very, very important. Life we need to be grateful for, because with life, it gives us all kind of opportunity and experience. So I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful that I made it today, and I know a lot of people haven't made it. So that is something I am truly grateful for. I'm grateful for my bed because I've been very, very tired in the last few days. I'm grateful for my family and friends, and I'm grateful for you guys who have been supporting me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Right. So those are some of the things I'm grateful for. Most of all, I'm also grateful for the school I'm at and my students. I have learned and I've been learning so much from my students. Yes, they're learning a lot from me, but I'm also learning a lot from them too. So I am truly grateful for that. Wow, my wins today. I had quite a few. In terms of the students finished doing the exams, and we now start marking. We got 4. The beautiful thing is we have a colleague that actually is on maternity leave, but she's actually come back to I think the school call it keeping in touch day. So she's actually decided to share the marking with us, which is brilliant. So we got 4 sets and it's divided by 3. So instead of, each of us having probably a 22 or 25 each, we have in less than that, which is beautiful. So, I've sorted all of that out. The students have done the exam. I start the marking and I'm looking forward to the marking. So that's one of my wins there, because I need to look forward to it to get it over and done with, because I'm one of these people who have marking negative energy, because I never like it, and when you don't like something you get more of it. So I need to change my mindset, and I've been doing that. Another of my win is one of my year 13 students. She was just passing. I had a time, one period free, and I was doing some marking, but she passed by my door because she thought she was in that classroom, and she decided to pop in. So I spent the lesson having a conversation with her. It was such an enlightening conversation. This is something students have been actually talking to me about in the last probably week and a half, because they feel that educators, teachers, who have an adult don't understand them. I do agree that to an extent, because one of the things that student pointed out to me is in one of the younger years, I think it was 2 years ago, when she was playing up, she was acting out because she's gone through a trauma, and instead of the adults seeing that what was wrong, finding out what was causing that behavior, instead they gave it a label. And they also labeled her that, oh, you're going to get kicked out of school, It's like all the negative that went with it. Because when she started telling me about, that she was acting up, etc. So I said to her, what was the causal factor for that? And she looked at me and she said, Miss, nobody have asked me why I was acting up. Instead, I got labeled, as a rebel, and I was told I'll be kicked out of school. I was put in isolation. It's like all these things that happen. And what actually came to mind was, it is quite sad, because as adults, when there is a behavior of a child, we do not try to find the causal factor. Instead, we punish the child for that behavior that's taking place. And there's always a cause behind everything that people does. So therefore, it is so very important that we identify what the cause of this issue is, and see how we could support the young person in navigating the situation which they find themselves in. So we had a real long discussion on that, and the fact that adults don't don't find out what the cause is; they just punish. That's one of the reasons why I know a lot of people, I know a lot of schools hate me for that, or they really feel that I am not implementing the policy when it comes to giving detention. In this school, I've given a few detention, and then I stopped because I realized that I know all the time as well that detention doesn't work. It's a matter of finding the root cause of the problem or the challenge and see ways by which we could navigate to support the individual in dealing with it. I got to the stage where I've given, I can't remember how many detention I've given, right? And halfway through, I said, but Debbie, you know you don't believe in detention. Why are you doing that? It's not helping. So I decided there's no point in that. So I started having some long discussion instead as well, because I was having the discussion anyway. But now I'm having the discussion instead. And finding solution or identifying ways by which I could help those students navigate what the challenges are. It's not easy. As I said last week, I had a student that was constantly misbehaving. She's disruptive, etc., etc. I think I gave her 2 or 3 detention. In the end, I thought, you know what, it's a waste of my time. I'm tired of that. Because, you know, after a while, they become immune to the detention. It doesn't work. It never worked anyway. So then I decided to have a conversation with her. I had an idea that the lessons were too challenging, but it's better that the student actually say that than you making an assumption. Anyway, I had a discussion with a student, and I said, okay, what is it? I said, I'm not giving you any more detention. It's a pointless exercise. So let's have a discussion. And I said, it's either the work is too easy or it's too challenging. And she looked at me, and when she burst into tears, I know it was too challenging. So we actually have an agreement that she's going to come to me at lunchtime, and I go through the areas with her. Today in one of my lessons, she's been in my lesson yesterday, today, yeah. And her behavior have been so different. She sits right in front of me because I moved her from where she was sitting. And in terms of, it's meeting her where she's at and asking her questions, she's answering. I keep on saying to them, if if I ask you a question, it doesn't matter if it's wrong, just tell me what you think it is. And the fact that increased engagement. And it's so beautiful, it really is lovely that she is feeling more comfortable in the class, and she's more comfortable to come to me to discuss. So we've actually, started that program whereby she comes to me, but she doesn't want her friends to know what's happening. And I said to her, you don't have to. You could just blame me and say, oh, Miss always want me, she's always want me to come to her, etc., etc. It doesn't matter. They don't need to know why. So that's the session that's really working for me. And the other factor with the other student, my year 13, have said to me that, nobody have ever asked her as to why was she doing what she was doing. And when I actually did ask her, one of the things she was saying, we had a real long discussion. We went into, lesson, it was an hour because I had a free hour. And then we went into break time. And break time was about, I think it's 30 minutes. So we were talking all that time. And as she said to me, she was going through a number of trauma. She's going to trauma. She's now getting over it. But the amazing thing about it is no one asked her why she was behaving like this. And, me asking her, she had a lot to say. And one of the things I encourage my students to do is journal. 2 things is either you journal which means everything, you take it out of your headspace and put it on the paper in a book, or you write it on paper and you burn it, which means you're saying, you know what, it is coming out of my head, I'm giving my head some headspace and I'm burning it. So she said to me she do both of them. She do the burning and she do the journaling. And that was fantastic because it means that she's releasing herself and she's not carrying the burden. She's reducing the burden that she's carrying. And, another thing she's also said to me is a lot of students, young people, go through abuse, either sexual abuse or physical abuse within their relationship. And some of them don't even realize that is abuse. And they don't even realize why they're still there. One of the things the students have said to me was she was going through abuse with a partner. She's young. She's not even 18 yet. And one of the things was she remained in the relationship. Although it was a toxic relationship, she remained in the relationship because he was making her feel good about herself. As she then began to identify, because she came out of this relationship last year, and she now reflect and realize it was a very toxic relationship. And the interesting thing about all of that is there are a lot of young people out there, children, I call them children, young people, school age, etc., who are in relationship and it's toxic. But because their friends have told them that they're XYZ and they've been labeled negatively, and this toxic relationship, although the negative label is there, but there's also an aspect of so-called positiveness, that tend to stay in that abusive relationship. And the other thing is, when some children or some young people come from abusive home life and abusive relationship, for them they think that it is normal because they don't see anything else. So that kind of relationship which they're now in becomes normalized because of where they're coming from. So adults, it is so very important that we listen to our young people. And when they're actually acting up, we don't just see it as just acting up, because there must be a reason why they're acting like that. Have you tried to find out? I also know that a lot of them would not want to speak to us as parents, but there's sometimes we need to refer them to other avenue where they would actually be able to speak to these people, because it's important that we actually support these young people in doing that. And as I said, it may not necessarily be that they want to talk to us as parents, because there's sometimes they notice that even within our family relationship, let's say if you are, there's mom and dad within that relationship, it might be toxic. So it may not even be a welcoming relationship or form of communication to enable that young person to come and talk. But I urge you, especially now in the pre-COVID, the post-COVID era, young people's mental health is really affected. And when they're playing up, you need to identify the causal factors for that instead of just labeling them XYZ. The labeling doesn't help. It just escalates the problem. And what you're doing is you're making them don't want to communicate anymore. You actually are enabling them to shut off because they're thinking nobody understands me. So therefore, what's the point of me talking? I urge you, adult, please, please, please allow these young people to communicate. When they're behaving, so-called unusual, when they're actually acting up, when they're playing up, when they're not listening, when they're not going into schools, there's no point in punishing them. They don't need punishing. They need empathy. They need a listening ears. They need us to support them. Anyway, guys, so that's what those were my win today, and that's what I really want us as adults to listen to them. because we don't know the baggages they're carrying. What for us might be something minimal, for them it could be a backpack full of bricks, which means it's heavy. Right? So those are the things we need to look at. And that's how we need to start giving them the support they need to enable them to navigate this world that is unusual, this world that is normalizing what is not normal. And this world that has so many challenges. For us adults, we might think, oh, just get over it. Oh, you're resilient. No, 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 no. They're not. They could be, but they need the support in doing that. Anyway, guys, have a fantastic evening, morning, night where you are. Thank you for listening. And I keep saying you need to identify your win. You need to identify your mission. Sometimes you need to redefine what is winning. Winning sometimes is just starting, could be winning for you. For some students, actually start talking to someone, for them that could be a win, because they were never able to speak to somebody and now they're able to do that. So that's a win. So you need to also identify what your mission is. My mission today, that I had two missions. One of it was to leave the school early, and I did that fantastic. Another one was to make sure I engage with my students. Another one is I'm saying, yes, I really don't believe in giving detention. And another one is try not to give detention. Well, anyway, I'm not giving detention, so it doesn't really matter. And that's one of the things schools have been telling me off about. They've been telling me that I'm not, carrying on with the policy, la-di-la-di-la. But you have to ask the question, does detention work? No. Students become immune to it. So it's a pointless exercise. What's the point? Anyway, take care, stay blessed, and have a fantastic evening, night where you are. And identify your win, identify your mission, and demonstrate your gratitude for people, for yourself, and for where you're at. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.